Welcome to the TFW podcast. That's Freakin Wrestling. This is episode 23. We are moving on this thing, so that is fantastic to see. Thank you guys as always for listening, watching, supporting us. We appreciate you guys. Joining me as always, you guys know who we got. Rhodesia is here. What is going on, ma'am?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing well, ready to talk some wrestling.
Excellent. Eshaun is with me as always. Sir, what is new and exciting in your world?
Well, it's a lot of things new, but we got some wrestling to talk this week, and I'm excited about that. Let's get it, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's
Hey, real
start
quick.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off already. How you doing?
Nobody ever asks how I'm doing.
No, yeah, I
You
just
guys
realized
are
that.
Nobody
you
cares.
guys are selfish.
Nobody cares.
You guys
Let's
just
keep
want to get
moving.
right to the wrestling talk. So let's get right to the wrestling talk. I could be having the worst day in the world, and it doesn't matter because we're sitting here talking about wrestling. So that's what it's all about.
Hey.
Triple H, it came out this week that he is in favor and he is going to a shortened WrestleMania card this year. We know that he typically likes the more condensed wrestling shows. When he had NXT TakeOver years ago, back in the day, it was 2.5 hours tight, 5 to 6 matches max, and we were always left wanting more. We've kind of seen that also with these other pay-per-views since he's taken over. We are no longer doing the 4.5 hour shows with 2 or 3 pre-show matches. He's kind of really tightened it up. And it sounds like he's doing the same thing with WrestleMania this year, which is still going to be, of course, 2 nights. I want to go down the cards so far that we know. And then I want to get your guys' thoughts on kind of just the your opinion on, are you in favor of the shorter card? And what does that look like? Because we've always been told WrestleMania, you try to get as many people on that card to get them a payday, to get them that look. That's kind of like the celebration. And from what we've heard this week, some of the talent are upset because they are not going to make the cut. So let's look at what we know for a fact is happening on WrestleMania this year. Of course, at the top of the card, we got Roman versus Cody for the Universal Championship. We have Charlotte versus Rhea for the SmackDown Women's title. We have Bianca versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. And what was made official this Monday, and we will talk about this after we get through this part of the conversation.
Gosh, no.
Is Brock versus Omos. Excuse me. That is what we have guaranteed. The safe assumptions, of course, will be Seth and Logan Paul, right? Also, which we'll talk about
John Cena
right after this. Bobby versus Bray Wyatt.
Bobby!
Hopefully this Monday we get John Cena and Austin Theory official for the U.S. title. And then the next two, we know there's going to be some sort of combination of the Usos, KO, and Sammy. Some combination of, we'll see how that plays out over the next few weeks. And then with what we saw with the women's title match, which I cannot wait to get Rhodesia's thoughts on the main event of Monday Night Raw. We know we're going to get some type of combination with Damage Control, Becky, Lita, and Trish. Okay, so as of right now, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's probably not too many more matches that's going to be announced. If we're talking about a condensed, we're probably talking about maybe 4 total. But other than that, that could be it. So overall thoughts. Rhodesia, I will lead with you. What is your thoughts about having a much more condensed WrestleMania card? And then just from a viewer fan perspective, are you completely in favor of it? Are you going to miss those marathon shows we used to have? Just tell me what you think.
So I think you hit the nail on the head right there when you said from a fan perspective and then being there live at the show. I am so in favor of a shorter WrestleMania. Again, this is about to sound like first world problems, right? Mm-hmm. But the past manias that I've been to, they have been absolute marathons. And I don't think it's really fair to the main event and those leading up to the end of the show because I'm exhausted. I'm fatigued at that point. So for me, having this 2 nights, having looking at maybe a 4-hour show both nights, I'm all for it as the fan. Again, it is unfortunate people are going to miss out on a payday, but hey, have the Andre Giant over the top Battle Royal. You can get all the rest of the guys in there, and then do something for the ladies.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, before I go, like Matt, you go to a lot of these WrestleManias, right? Really got me going into them, man. What are your thoughts?
I think this is fantastic. I think it's incredible. You have been there with us. When you get around that 4.5 hour mark and you look down your clock and you're like, we got 2 more hours of this show.
Yeah, 4 more matches to go.
Yep. Right? You got to get there early. And back, of course, when we were going before pre-pandemic, you had 2 to 3 pre-show matches. Hey, you want to get in there for the pre-show matches, which means you're going to show up before those pre-show matches anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours before bell time. Because you got to get through the 70,000 people to get to your seats and get your drinks and your food and all that kind of stuff. So by the middle of the show, you're already gassed. Like, you are done for. So for us to not have to sit through a 7-hour show, and I think one of the last shows before they went 2 nights, I think clocked in legit at like 7 hours. If you include from the time the first match started to the last match, it was like a 7-hour show. As much as we all love wrestling, it is absolutely too much of a good thing is not good anymore. And you're over it. You're over it by the time the main event. So I am 2 thumbs up on this one.
Yeah, you know what? I thought about it at the time. I considered it. I was indifferent towards it because I'm pretty open to most things. But I remember our first WrestleMania that we went to together in Dallas, Texas. Man, that was a long day, right? And I was glad that they actually ended up putting it on 2 nights because that was a marathon. Starting that early in the day and even going 2 days. We're talking about like 4 to 5 hours. I mean, that's a lot of wrestling. We talked about one of the AEW shows, and I can't remember which one it was, but it was an awesome card top to bottom. But I felt like we were watching wrestling forever, right? And I felt like everything has an expiration date to where there's like a sweet spot in how much good of anything you can have in a day or in a night. So they can give us maybe, I think 3 hours, maybe 3.5 hours each night. That might be ideal. I was trying to remember, and maybe you guys can think of it. Like back in the day, WrestleMania. Like how long were those? Before
3.5 hours max.
I thought it was about 5 when we first started going.
Back in the day, like back in the late 80s, early 90s.
3 hours.
3 hours, right? Because I think the longest one.
It was closer to like 2:45 than it was 3.
Wow.
It never went over 3 hours. Yeah.
Because I remember the longest one was when Macho Man won the championship in that tournament. And I was like, remember? Right? Because it was like a 2-tape box set. I remember.
It was 2 tape.
I thought was cool, right? And you open it up and had like the picture. Yeah, I think that was the longest one, right? So yeah, I think that, and I feel bad for the talent, right? Because you want them to get paid and be recognized. I think it's a great time of the year, but I think it might, in some ways, strive them to work a little bit harder to take notice. I think Zoe Starks was on Busted Open another day. She made one thing. She made a very interesting point to me. She said, "Hey, I need to make sure that I bring something out of myself that people take notice of." And I think that if other wrestlers make that a mindset for them, maybe we might see more competition to push themselves to be on Mania the next year. So I think it might be a great thing.
I do too. I think you guys are both spot on with it. It does suck because you want all the talent to be recognized. But since they have gone away from traditional pay-per-view, in the United States, I don't think anybody's ever really talked about pay scale with Mania. So we don't even know how that works anymore now that they're strictly on Peacock, and they're on the network outside the United States. I don't even know if they'd even get a significant bump, so, but I am in favor of these tight, condensed shows because it leaves you wanting more. And that is absolutely first world problems. Even if you're not going to these shows, and because we watch with such a detail, if it was just something that was on the background on TV, okay, let it go 12 hours. Who cares? Right. But when you're watching and you're intently trying to really just take in everything from entrances to the actual match quality to post-match to the commentary, it gets taxing on you. You're just like, dang, is this show ever going to be over?
It reminds me of I'm drawing a parallel here to watching a 5-hour Marvel movie. So we kind of were dreading the 3+ hour Marvel movies. You don't even want to get up. We were I forgot what movie it was. Was it the first Endgame or the first, it might be Endgame, or the one that came out before Infinity War. I think everybody was like, well, make sure you pee before the movie starts because you're not going to want to get up. But just imagine that. Like, that's how I felt. Like, it's a 5-hour, you have your one match to throw away. And then you get somebody like me who likes to drink beer. And by my third beer, I want to just go to sleep. And most times I fall asleep during the WrestleMania. Again, first world problem. Sorry, guys. I sound like this.
The good thing is for you, Triple H knows you like to go on your beer breaks and your wine breaks. And he put the perfect match on the card for you.
On both nights, right?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, guys. Brock Lesnar. Actually, before we get to Brock Lesnar.
Let's do the other one first.
Okay. Or I got a question for you two.
Okay.
You guys put me through the ringer 2 weeks ago.
Oh, God.
You guys put me through the ringer 2 weeks ago.
Here comes the promo. Here we go.
Has had the best return? Saraya or Bray Wyatt? And oh my God, you would have thought I asked you guys to commit murder in broad daylight the way you guys jumped down my throat. Oh my God, how would you ever think it could be Saraya? Look at what Bray's done. I told you I was at the show the week of Christmas. The crowd went crazy for him. Is there any chance right now you guys want to walk back? And I won't even, I'm not going to say I told you so or anything like that. Do you guys want to walk back your comment from 2 weeks ago? Because a lot has changed in 2 weeks.
Nope. Because guess what?
Saraya has had a better return so far than Bray Wyatt.
Nope. Bray's going to have a WrestleMania payday. Saraya's not even going to be on Revolution. Or she might be on it, but she's not even wrestling on Revolution. So
that's great.
She's in the
triple threat match. I really need you to watch wrestling when it comes
to that. Is true. That is true.
So we're striking you from this conversation. So Eshaun, my brother E.
So
what you got, man?
Friends and supporters of the show, I knew this was coming because Matt's been various text messages been talking about this all week. If it's some reason, he just won't let this go. He just can't be wrong, right? Like, hey, in life we're always sometimes we just don't hit. Okay, sometimes we just hit. Matthew, I'm calling you by your real name, Matthew. You can't sit here and tell me from a storyline perspective that Saraya's doing anything right. The people in AEW don't care about her. I don't care how you feel about Bray Wyatt's storyline. He still gets a reaction. So that means it's working for somebody.
He doesn't have a story.
He has one. He has one. Okay. I'm not going to tell you. Cool. You need to go back and watch shows like you asked your wife to do. You go back, you watch these shows, and you come back and tell me. And it doesn't matter what you say. Saraya's not having a better storyline.
So on Friday, we had the Firefly Funhouse, right? Which we thought that was done before, like, the Rumble. That was supposed to be dead. Remember, all the puppets were gone, but they're back now. So, Eshaun, can you tell me what the point of that promo was? Maybe I missed it. Maybe like I went to the bathroom because I had too much beer. Can you tell me like
no problem? Because this is my job to execute. So Bray is a horror fan, right? How many times has Jason died? We done got like 35 movies. This man won't die. Freddy's still around. Actually, hey, I actually would like a new Freddy movie. That might be something we need to talk about with the new cinema. Yeah, I think it's time to bring it back to a new audience. But yeah, people come back to life all the time. These supernatural type of thingies. I mean,
so Friday's promo was just him showing you that he's a horror guy and he's back now?
And so let's also not revisit the history. We ain't talking about what happened this week. You asked me last week. So we ain't talking about a messy promo from this week.
You're right.
At the time, we were talking about last week.
Okay, you're right. So then Monday, Bobby Lashley comes out and then Bray Wyatt's back to the whole Muscle Man music video. So was that like riveting television to you? Were you like, man, this return has been incredible, and now I get this fantastic music video? Is that what you're telling me also?
No, what I'm telling you is it's okay for you not to like something, but the overall mass people, when Paige, Saraya, who should be like their version of the female CM Punk, comes out to crickets, that means there's a problem with the story.
She's not coming out to crickets, though. But, okay, if you want to say that. But we know she's not coming out to crickets.
Okay.
And we know Rhodesia. No, I need you to, you can't get involved in this conversation.
No, I had to pull up on the internet. I just Googled it.
Go on your Googles real quick.
I just Googled it. Hold up. Stop. When did this happen? Straight right there, guys. Jamie Hayter. Well, I knew Ruby Soho was going to be in the match. I didn't know that Saraya was in the match. Did that happen the same week that Ruby got in a match?
Yeah, every Wednesday's Dynamite, 7 p.m. Central.
Don't do that.
8 p.m. Eastern. Just watch
Point
it.
is,
You'll
point
be
is.
surprised. What
Point
happens
is,
on that
point
show.
is, Saraya still not getting a WrestleMania paycheck, so Bray still wins this.
And you don't know Bray either, because we just talked about how we don't know the pay scale for WrestleMania. Okay, so regardless, we'll revisit this in maybe another 2 weeks. But you guys know the real. So let's get back to what we were talking about before we got on that diatribe. So we have now Omos and Brock Lesnar. Word comes out. Brock said, "Hell no, I'm not working with Bray Wyatt." He said, "I'd rather work with the 400-pound Nigerian giant than work a program with Bray Wyatt." I think we all probably can understand why. This is strange booking, and if this is any indication that, hey, Vince absolutely still has something to do with creative, this is Exhibit A and Exhibit B is Bobby versus Bray for sure, because this came out of nowhere. This was like, we were on here just last week, kikiing it up. There's no way they're doing like that match. This has got to be a swerve. There's no way that, Brock's going to accept the challenge. He's going to show up and say, "Give me Bobby," and we're going to get the big blow off. That didn't happen. Even that setup was like super
Awkward.
It wasn't even awkward. You could say awkward, but like to me, it was what's the word? It was forced. Like the setup for this match was MVP sell me on this match.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that was what they should have did backstage. But we actually saw it in the middle of the ring. That was pretty strange. So what do you guys got to say around those two matches? Bray versus Bobby, and then Brock in the 400-pound, I think it's 420-pound Nigerian giant. What do you guys think?
So I'll start with the Brock and Omos. The only thing I'm looking forward to that is seeing Omos getting suplexed around and even F5, because that's going to be an absolute sight to see. Because I've never seen Omos get handled like that. I actually, hopefully the fans don't just completely cancel me after all of this so far today. I actually kind of looking forward to.
They don't cancel you for this. They're absolutely going to cancel you when we get to AEW.
So
they
listen.
are absolutely going to cancel you. Wait till you hear this, E. Wait till you hear what
was I about to say
during Dynamite. I can't wait for that part.
What happened?
No, don't worry.
Okay. So, anyways, I'm actually really excited to see this Bray and Bobby play out. One, because Bray is all these different characters. He has all these personalities. If I had to get between Brock or Bobby, I'd rather it be Bobby, because I can already see how he plays into this. Stop playing on these mind games. He's actually more animated. So I'm actually really looking forward to what this is actually going to be. And that's the reason why I still said that I'm more invested in this whole Bray, and his return has been better than Saraya, because I actually am kind of excited about Bobby and Bray.
Okay. Eshaun's mic is not working right now. He does this like once an episode.
I do. I thought I pressed it a long time ago. But if the news is correct about Brock saying no to Bray, I mean, it might make sense with the sudden change, right? And in a lot of ways, like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, like for them to work a program, it would seem kind of strange because, it's a lot of mumbo jumbo in Bray act right now, right? It reminds me of like in a lot of ways, it's this generation's version of Undertaker. It's going to be a lot of spooky hocus pocus type stuff that Brock doesn't do. I've never seen him do it in any type of way, and he probably wasn't interested in doing it. So there's that, but I'm not interested at all in the Omos, and I feel so bad, man. You know me. I love to support people of color in positions, but he just don't do it for me. I don't know, man. I don't want to go too far into it, but that match doesn't do it for me. Actually, I never considered what Rhodesia mentioned about Bobby being able to kind of play up into that type of world with his personality. So maybe that might be interesting. But I like Bobby. I like Bray. I like to see what they do together, but I am uninterested in Brock and Omos.
But the thing about it, they've given us no reason to be interested in him. And it's not even his fault per se. We saw him in Saudi with
Braun.
With Braun Strowman, right?
Yeah, remember they was motorboating each other and stuff like that.
And is that the last match we've seen on WWE TV with him?
Maybe.
No, we've seen him. No, he's been he popped up randomly on Raw. MVP announced him. He came back out and did something, and
okay, and it was
then
like
he was off TV for a while.
Right?
Yeah,
and then that was
off
it.
TV
I
for a
think
while.
it's the last time we've seen him.
Yeah.
I think we legit have not seen him wrestle more than 2 matches since like November.
Yeah,
but now he's in the match with
Brock,
one of your biggest stars, Brock Lesnar. That's why we're not invested in him. Has nothing to do personally with him at all. It's how he's being presented. I just think it's a waste of one of your biggest main eventers in Brock. That this is the match that he has at right now your biggest WrestleMania of the year. To me, that's why I'm kind of turned off on it, just completely. And then you can, so if I wanted to play devil's advocate and say, which I know it's not, but let's just say that Bray was the number one option, and that's where they were putting all their eggs in their basket was Bray and Brock. And Brock's like, no thanks, I'm not doing that. And then he is the second option, or maybe the last resort, is Omos. Okay, but we know that's not the case either, right? Because you still have not set that up. Even when Bray came out there 2 Fridays ago and was just like, hey, whoever wins, I'm coming after you. Yeah, I got excited because I was like, wow, that's different. But even that was like, out of
Where
nowhere.
did that come from?
So, yeah, I mean, whatever. Hey, nothing can be perfect. I just thought that was super duper strange. And I'm not a fan of that match. And I am really not a fan right now of what Bray is doing. Are those promos entertaining to me? Yes, they're entertaining, but we're going in circles. Like the whatever story, it feels like whatever story they were going to tell when he first came back completely got scrapped. And now we're back to
I can see that.
Now we're just back to, oh, it's Bray Wyatt, he's playing mind games. It'll make sense. It'll make sense. No, it'll make sense, and it hasn't. I mean, not to go on a long diatribe on that, but like LA Knight. Where the hell is LA Knight at?
Yeah.
Right? He held his own. We talked about he carried that feud with Bray. He loses to Uncle Howdy. Yes, we've seen him on SmackDown since, but this goes back to what they talked about before Bray came back. Nobody is in a better spot after Bray's feud than they were going into it. And maybe that's also what Brock thought and was like, no, because if I win, okay, I was supposed to. If I lose, I lost to Hocus Pocus. I think there's a lot there. I hope they figure it out. Because if you look at the kind of pop that Bray got back in October when he came back, one of the loudest reactions we've heard in a very long time. And there's a lot of people who are starting to get a little worn thin now of this story and where they're going. So they just got to be careful.
Before we move on from this, real quick question to both of y'all. Knowing what we have now, the cards that's dealt right now, would you rather not have Brock at Mania at all? If his opponent is Omos?
Yeah, no, you can't do that. No, you still do that. Yeah, you do it 5-6 minutes, get in, get out, but at least he's there. I mean, because people are buying tickets to see Brock.
Got it.
So he's got to be on the card. He's got to be on the card.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. Monday nights, new women tag team champions. They absolutely deserve some applause for that. Look at Rhodesia's face. She is not ready to have the conversation that is coming after this.
Not in the
Congrats
slightest.
and shout out to Lita and Becky for beating Damage Control for the women's tag team championship. Rhodesia.
Yes.
Lita's one of your favorite wrestlers. You told a story on the podcast a couple weeks ago about how you met her in line, how she was so sweet. Can't pull any punches, though. What was your thoughts on the match? And most important, I guess, or particularly, Lita's performance?
All right, so that is 2 totally separate questions. I'll start with the first. And we're not pulling punches. Just like how you just mentioned about, just like with the whole Brock and Omos thing. Like, how did we get here? To me, that's exactly how I felt. How did Lita and Becky even come together? I know that one night Becky needed friends, so she called up a friend and boom, she popped up. Rumor was maybe it was supposed to have been Trish that was supposed to come in or whatever the case is. But to me, I'm not even bought into that whole story. So to me, even though Lita is my favorite female wrestler, I can't even get behind this because I don't even understand why y'all are a tag team. You know, Becky, you're too big of a star to be paired with anybody, especially another woman. Like if she did something like with Seth, then that'd be kind of cool there. But Becky's too big of a star to be paired with anybody to be a tag team. Now, I'm happy as a Lita fan that, hey, she gets one more run at doing something she absolutely loves. I think I talked about this last week and weeks before. Anytime a wrestler can come back and do what they love, bravo to them. I'm not a fan that they won the tag team championship in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand how Lita, who's 40 plus years old, and Becky, again, maybe I shouldn't do that. It sounds like ageism. But someone like Lita, who's been out of the ring for so long, and Becky, who's a star, can beat somebody like Dakota and Io. That to me just is not believable. So I'm not bought in on there on both sides. One, on the physical aspect of it, and then two, on the storyline of who Becky and Lita are. So that's my thought there. Now, being able, the second question was what exactly? I forgot.
Just Lita's performance in that match.
Oh, Lita's performance. I can't talk about it because she has been out of the ring for a long time. Ring rust is a thing. Just like how we saw how Saraya came back and she was a little clunky too. Lita was a lot more clunkier than Saraya. But no, she did not have a good performance at all. But I don't think I was expecting her to have a good performance. So I don't know if that's positive thinking or negative thinking. I don't know. Yeah. It wasn't a good performance from her, but again, what would I expect? Would anybody expect?
Eshaun, what did you expect? And what did you see Monday night?
Man, I didn't expect you guys to be so hard on these sisters coming out here trying to do their thing on TV. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean to say, well, you're really hard on Saraya and you won't say that Bray Wyatt's return has so far been an epic failure? You mean like that? Or are we just going back to like...
No, we just want to admit that Saraya's portrayal in AEW is an epic failure and even worse of a portrayal. They will admit that. And that has nothing to do with we get to it. But I think Saraya just looks phenomenal. Every time she comes on the screen, I'm like, wow. She just looks good. I feel like she looks better now than she did 5 years ago.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
We'll get back to AEW. We'll get back to AEW later on.
And I mean this, and I said it before. I mean it with the most utmost respect.
Oh, I know where
I
you're going.
can absolutely mean this.
Give it to me.
She looks like a gorgeous Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson was a female.
That wasn't what I was expecting at all either.
I love it.
She looks like a gorgeous Michael Jackson. I'm actually probably going to send her that in a tweet and just tell her, like, hey, no disrespect. She may block me for it, but every time I see her, I'm like,
she might be
Don't
flattered.
Don't do that.
I would be flattered if somebody told me that.
No, don't tweet that. Don't tweet
if
that.
someone said
gorgeous
yeah.
Michael Jackson.
If someone said, Rhodesia, you look like a gorgeous Michael Jackson, I would say thank you.
She did like Rhodesia, you like a gorgeous Thriller off the wall Michael Jackson.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean?
Man,
that's
so
like,
big it.
Yeah,
so
she's
big.
like the dangerous history, beautiful Michael Jackson.
Okay, we'll get back to Saraya in a minute. But yeah, I mean, so it's WrestleMania season. And they're transitioning from one PLE to the next, right? And so how do we get there? So sometimes the transition is what we like because we want like a storyline reason to get from one to like they're going from one thing to the next. So sometimes you're going to rush storylines together. And you think about like Becky, like if she can't be in either women's title picture, like they got to come up with something big for her. And I think having somebody like the caliber of Lita come back to team with her to challenge for something. And I think they kind of uplifts the tag titles a little bit. Having a legend like Lita teaming up with another future Hall of Famer like Becky, it says something. And then who knows? I'm not sure where they're going with with Ronda and Shayna because they don't have a match that I can see on this WrestleMania card. But certainly after WrestleMania, if they retain the titles, you got Becky, you got Lita versus Ronda and Shayna. That'd be a good match down the line as well. Now, as far as her performance, Lita, hey, she's a little rusty, right? What can you expect? I think the spectacle of just seeing her in the match, seeing her there. Hopefully at Mania we get even better match. But I think we need to give this some time to play out. I think it was awesome that Trish came back. All right, I got Trish. Let me know what I got. What Trish where you at, baby? Look at Trish. Sent me a pop. She wrote my name on it. You can go to her website, trishstrategist.com, and get you a pop. Hey, that's a cheap plug right there for you. Trish, next time it won't be so cheap. We're going to cost you. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? But, yeah, I mean, I think we need to let it play out. Of course, you like to see Lita be the leader she was 20 years ago. Hey, man, but Father and Mrs. Time comes for us all, and you got to give us a little bit of time to kind of work in there. So I'm open to seeing where this thing goes.
No, I think that it was fantastic that she's back because she's a legend. Hey, no Rock this year, no Austin this year. There's not a lot of legends for WrestleMania, and WrestleMania is still known for legends. Luckily, she can still go in the ring to a certain extent. So I'm all about her being back. I'm all about Trish being back. I'm even all for them winning the tag titles. I think, though, they should have and probably could have done a better job protecting her in that match. She looked like she was moving at 50% speed than everybody else was. And somebody on Twitter had sent me a message and just said, like, hey, she is, 20 years older than everybody else in the ring. She's been off for a while. Okay, and while that is all factual, she's still wrestling for a championship that they won. Right? So if that is the case, it's a tag match. Protect her.
Yeah.
Maybe have her start the match, couple of arm drags, couple of suplexes, get her out, and she's not back into the hot tag. Then let her hit that moonsault. The moonsault was fantastic. She was just moving really, really slow in that match. Yeah. And I think watching her, I think it was more mental than physical.
I would probably agree with that too, yeah.
Yep, that's what I think. So we'll see, to your point, E, we'll see where it goes. I wouldn't even be surprised, and this is going to be like, why in the world would they do that? But we've seen it happen before.
With that tag team championship.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they lose those belts before WrestleMania. We'll see how it plays out. But if they don't go in as tag champs, I would be like, okay, I saw that coming. So that was probably the really, really big thing from Raw. I also thought two things, and I'll kind of throw it to you guys on what you guys really like from Raw, if anything. Tez and Jimmy brought it in their match. I thought they did fantastic. Once again, just shows the capacity and capability of Montez when he goes singles. They rocked it. And boy, oh boy, was Chad Gable and Cody ridiculous.
Yeah.
My goodness gracious, was that match off the charts good. So shout out to those guys. Before you guys give me your thoughts on Raw, watching Chad Gable, I know all three of us are really big fans of his. What do you guys feel like his trajectory is this year? So just 2023. What is the peak that we ideally, realistically think that he's going to hit? Would you pencil him in as a finalist at King of the Ring? Do you say, hey, he is absolutely going to be a U.S. champ by the end of 2023? I see. What do you guys see from Chad this year?
I say all of those things that you just said. I'm not going to put him in the main event spot. I just can't. I just don't think that he will get to that point where the fans would want that for him or advocate for him. But absolutely, King of the Ring, one of the last 2, 3, that's really serious about to win the King or Crown. Absolutely, I could see that for sure. Him and Otis. I think they're both great.
Otis is the man.
Otis is the man.
Yeah, definitely. Because I like Alpha Academy a lot. I like those guys together. But to answer your question about Gable, I mean, I've been a fan of his for a long time. I mean, he's definitely been there in the ring. He has personality. We've seen him carry personality. I think there's a reason why we see him on TV every single week doing something, interacting with someone, because he's very charismatic, has a lot of personality, and he's great in the ring. He looks fantastic. He's in awesome shape. He looks great. I think he can be this generation's version of Kurt Angle in a lot of ways, because he has a high range of character. But I think what he needs to do that Kurt was able to do was bring a serious side to his character. Like, Kurt can come off like a killer when he wanted to come off with. And I think when Gable was able to present himself as a very serious competitor, it's cool to have the fun and games and the laughs. I mean, you got to kind of have the entertaining aspect to any character. But when he's able to show that serious side, that's what's going to take him to the next level. I just don't think that a lot of people probably take him seriously because he's so entertaining. He's so goofy in a lot of different ways. So when he's ready to take the next level, it's going to be when he becomes more serious as a competitor or portrayed that way.
Right. And I think people are seeing what we've always seen in him since old NXT and why we were just so incredibly pissed off at Vince when he was Shorty G.
Oh, it's my gosh.
You have a diamond in the rough and you are making him out to be a complete joke and named him Shorty G.
I forgot about the Shorty G.
Yep. I did not. I
did not. We all should forget about Shorty G.
Those are my quick thoughts from Raw. What did you guys have that were either really highlights or really lowlights from this past Monday?
4 things. 1, Candice LeRae got a win. Might have been her first. I don't know.
Yeah,
yes. She got a win over Piper.
So
I like Piper too, though. Yeah, but Candice got a win. Corbin still being treated like an afterthought. I'm actually excited about this. Judgment Day.
Do you guys think he's going back to bum ass Corbin, or do you think he's going to the Lone Wolf Corbin, or something completely different?
I don't know. I'm just ready to see what it is. Because
Yeah.
whatever's going to happen, he's going to eventually snap. So whatever that snap is going to turn into, I'm excited to see that. Because Corbin, he's a beast. He should be a tough bad guy, not a funny bad guy. Judgment Day had a pretty cool segment where like all of them kind of went at the people they were going after. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't really see that often, or at least I don't notice that kind of a video package often, but that was really cool. They kind of just went down their hit list of everybody. Lastly, I don't want to take this if anybody else was going to say this, so I don't want to steal y'all thunder, but that Asuka.
Steal the thunder.
Man, when Asuka chopped or hit, striked, whatever you want to call it, to Carmella, she dang near took her head, face, side of her face, all the way off. That would have been my TFW moment of the week.
It was there.
But that was like, whoa. Like Asuka for real. But that's my Asuka I like. That's all I got.
I'm on the same page with you is with Judgment Day. I really like what they've been doing with them. I feel like at some point they need to get some gold. Now I guess Rhea might be the person to get that gold, which would be phenomenal. But yeah, I love everything that they're doing. I got a question for you guys. Well, Cody,
you know what? I'm sorry, we forgot. Probably rumor. I mean, we're going to get it somehow, some way. Edge and Finn at Mania. That was one of the ones we didn't talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely, we're going to get. Yep. Yeah, we didn't talk about them, but we're definitely going to get them. But Cody, and Gable, great match. Did you hear like that reaction he got? Like,
who's he?
Great.
Which one?
Cody.
Yeah.
Cody just gets great reactions. I think he might have got the reaction tonight. So I just love that he's getting that love and he's getting that build. I'll actually bring this up in a minute. But staying with Raw and Asuka and Carmella, like I didn't necessarily like that whole thing. Especially like the end, I felt was kind of strange what they're doing. I'm not sure. Yeah, the whole thing. I'm not sure if they're going to interject Carmella in the whole feud, which I like Carmella. Right, I think she's another one of those. I think Baron Corbin, Gable, and Carmella are so versatile as characters that you can kind of do anything with them, and it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be interesting, and I think that's what a lot of wrestlers sometimes don't have. They just seem very interesting. However, like the whole little exchange at the end where Carmella all of a sudden came out and she pushed Bianca into Asuka, and then all of a sudden, I mean, this was like a knockout blow for Asuka because she was down for like the whole rest of the segment. Like, right? Bianca's up, flexing with the belt, like Asuka still laid out. I'm not sure what part of Bianca she got hit with, but she was out like a light. So, like, it's just the whole thing just seems really weird to me. With the Asuka character, like, I don't know if she's that far away from the dancing, screaming Asuka character. Because like I think the makeup that she's wearing is very menacing, it kind of like or Joker-ish, right. But I don't think she's portraying that, in her personality, in these segments. So I'm just kind of confused on where she's going. I thought we're going to see a more of a serious version of her, or at least a more sadistic version of her. I haven't gotten that yet. But what do you guys think with the whole adding Carmella to that main event picture? You think that's where they're going?
So two quick things. I do think I see kind of what you're saying about Asuka. I do think she's much more serious than she was before. She doesn't dance anymore, right? And she hasn't said the whole nobody's ready for Asuka in her funny, laughing, singy type way. So I think they're kind of taking their time a little bit with it too. I think we're probably going to see more of it, even down to her mist, like where she has it dripping, which, so I think they've added a couple of different things. But the entire piece with Carmella, I think all that happened just to get to her and Chelsea in the back, which, oh my God, are they going to be TV gold together? Yeah. I think that was what that whole thing was for her to be able to go to Pierce and say she had a beef about it. She should be included. Chelsea's back there, and now watch them just be a menace to society backstage and on WWE TV. So I think that was what the whole point of that was.
Now, I cannot wait to hate them. You hear me? I cannot wait to hate them. I can't wait for them to come up with their name. I cannot wait to hate them.
Chelsea's beautiful.
Yep. It was a really good call bringing her back. Really good call.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got? You got anything else, E, from Raw?
Not on Raw.
Okay.
Let's keep it moving.
All right. I know you probably didn't watch it. You told us weeks ago you are a firm person against concerts, but everyone else, if you are a WWE fan, then I'm guessing you know who The Weeknd is because he has been the musical theme song for the last 20 WrestleManias, it feels like. But he had a HBO concert special. Check it out if you have not. It was pretty damn entertaining and good for sure. We watched it this past weekend. It was pretty awesome. So check it out if you have not. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was from SoFi, actually, ironically, which is where WrestleMania be this year.
So so WWE started with Flow Rider, then switched over to The Weeknd.
I don't know what he did, but he pissed somebody off because he is no longer a part of WWE. The only other thing I have for WWE is Friday, we got a awesome Jimmy and Sammy promo at the end of SmackDown. I did not have that on my bingo card. I don't know why I never envisioned them having like a 10-minute segment back and forth. But I think what I loved so much was, one, of course, the passion that they had talking to each other. But it was just the matter of them talking to each other, and both of them are right. Everything both of them said was 100% legit. And then the realization that they're going to have to come to eventually of like, can you guys not see that Roman is the issue behind all of your problems in the bloodline? But I thought that segment was 2 thumbs way up. I thought it was fantastic. But that was kind of all my highlights from this week with WWE.
Yeah, that really was a good segment too. I think it was. I think might have been surprising is that Jimmy really delivered. Because I think I've never seen Jimmy deliver on the mic in that way. Cause he's been a funny guy. Emotion. Yeah, or he talks. But he hasn't really delivered like this. I mean, he really expressed like passion, and you really can see, he really got his point across. You really could see exactly where he was coming from in that segment. Sammy, in a lot of ways, has carried a lot of these bloodline segments, but Jimmy was right there with him. And as you said, I mean, he said nothing wrong. He was exactly right. However, so was Jimmy. That's why the whole story overall has been so fascinating with them and continues to be interesting. But yeah, that was a really good segment. It's just a shame that, that show comes on Friday and we do the show on Thursday. It almost becomes like kind of an afterthought. I think we talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So do you guys think that Sammy is going to be as over as he is now when he moves away from anything bloodline related story? So do you think he's made enough as a face to where once he's done with the bloodline, if that ain't, equals him and KO getting the tag champs, whatever the case may be, once they are completely done with anything Roman related, will he still be as over as he is right now?
I would hope so. I think it'd be his to lose it. I think it'd be up to him to lose his fandom.
I think he's going to be for me as a fan. I'm not going to speak for all the fans, but I think he's really showed me a lot during this bloodline feud as far as a personality and a character. And, this might be a slight tangent. Like as much as I dislike Vince McMahon creative, I think he's right in a lot of ways. Like, I think that it's important to have characters that mean something to people. It's great to be great wrestlers. It's great to have great matches. But what really resonates with people are characters, and that really can resonate with them. And I think Sammy can do that. I think he's going to continue to do that. But he gets a great talker. He showed us that he's a great actor as well. He can show a variety of emotion in his promo, in his face, in his body language. I mean, he's definitely a character. Now, is he can he last as a main event character? I don't know. But I think he's definitely showed us that there's a different side of Sammy that's worth investing in as a fan. So I'm here for it. What you think, Matt?
It was cool. He put a tweet up yesterday. I'm going to read it real quick. It was 1 day ago. Today marks my 21st anniversary as a pro wrestler. My 20th year in the business was somehow my best. It started crazy and ended crazy. And he has 2 pictures. First picture is him in the mousetrap at Mania, which is the highest of highs when it comes to comedy. And
the actual mousetrap with them. Okay, yeah, okay.
And the second picture was him hitting Roman with the haluva kick from Elimination Chamber. So you think about kind of what you just said, his range, he can do it all. He can be the funniest guy on the roster, but when it came down to him having to be absolutely serious and nailing that, he did both of them pretty flawlessly. So shout out to him. I do think he's going to take a little bit of a bump because what it's going to be interesting to see is are the fans truly invested in Sammy, or are they invested in the story? Just like I think Cody's a made guy already. I think when he wins the championship, he's going to continue to get these type of reactions, right? Because they're cheering Cody. What I'm be interested to see is when Sammy gets these cheers, is it because it's against the bloodline, or is it because of Sammy? And we know every big face needs a big heel. Every big heel needs a big face. We know how that works when it comes to wrestling, but it's something to keep an eye on for sure, because how popular he is right now, I would love for him to continue to go down that path, but we'll see.
Hey, one quick thing. I just listened to Kenny Omega's interview with Renee Burkett, and during the interview, he had on a Sami Zayn shirt, which I thought was fascinating. I had no idea that they were really good friends. I think they had spent time together on some tours when they were younger, and Kenny's just a huge fan of Sami. And that also shows, as wrestling fans, a lot of wrestling fans, we get this thing to where, yep. Hey, it's us versus them, and wrestlers don't feel that way, right? Wrestlers don't feel that way.
You got each other all the time.
You got the one of the top wrestlers, the EVPs of another company, wearing, the competition's one of their biggest stars currently's T-shirt on an interview for everyone to see, right? So obviously, the war that we think is there isn't there, and that we should just shut up and enjoy wrestling.
Hell, there's people who's married in different companies.
That is true. Or you just broke some news, and hashtag Omega to WWE is confirmed. We talked about it a couple weeks ago on the pod. I think you may have just broke some news, man. So put that out there. November, he's going to show up at Survivor Series, because that's how long he had added to his contract, because he was out injured. That was everything I had. WWE Rise. You guys got anything else WWE related before we move on to AEW, talk some Dynamite, and to give our thoughts on Revolution, which is this weekend, which is a big pay-per-view?
Mine will be in my moment of the week. So I'm done with the WWE for now.
Okay. Very cool. So we did have Dynamite this week. Holy hell. That ladder match. That's one of those, you got to go back and watch it a second time, which I have not had a chance to, just to catch everything. They threw everything at us. And what's his name? Commander? That's the first time I've seen him.
Is that Kalisto?
I don't think I've seen him on. No, his name was Commander. That's not Kalisto, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't him? Okay. I didn't know who that was.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's much bigger than what Kalisto would be. What I remember Kalisto's size was.
Was it?
Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's the first time I've seen him. But boy, he is on my radar now. Like, I got to pull up some other matches with him. He was unreal last night. I thought they did a fantastic job of highlighting who should have been highlighted. Takeshita had a couple of bright spots in that match. Of course, Hobbs won, so shout out to Hobbs. Let's hit the air horn for Hobbs. It's gonna be really interesting to see what they do now Sunday with Samoa Joe and Wardlow, because he gets his title shot next week. So do you give him that brass ring just to lose? I don't think that's going to be the case. Do you flip the belt to Wardlow just for him to put over Hobbs? It's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens. That match was great. The embarrassing discourse online today and last night was, you guys all saw the end of the match. If you didn't see it, Takeshita's going up, try to get the brass ring. Hobbs kind of runs through the ladder, knocks Takeshita off, and the ladder is basically broken for the most part. Hobbs climbs up the ladder. There's like 3 or 4 referees holding the ladder so he doesn't fall. Grabs the brass ring. Discourse all on Twitter about, once again, WWE, or AEW haters. Look at this Bush League product. Look at, so we just now hold the ladders. So we just give away the finishes now. For Matt, it's like, guys, it happens all the time where the refs hold the ladders. And then I posted, I got 4 pictures from WWE in the last 5 or 6 years where the referees are holding the ladder for a spot, either for a spot in the match or the end of the match in a ladder match. It's like, wow, I can't believe this is even a conversation that's a thing, that we should not protect the wrestler's safety because we're worried about blowing a spot or it doesn't look good. Get over yourselves. But nonetheless, Hobbs wins in a fantastic match. What did you guys think of that ladder match?
My only notes was there was just so many spots. Like you said, I would want to go back to watch it again because there was so much going on in a good way. And, you know, sometimes we talk about AEW, how there's just too much too fast and you're kind of like, oh, slow down. No, I think this was a good one. I think it was done well. There was a couple of moves that was done that I think is a little bit too unnecessary, just because of the pain that comes with it. But that's what you get in a ladder match. Just there's a certain matches that you get with those certain stipulations that you know is going to hurt. So, but no, I love the match. I felt bad, and I thought that it was very dangerous that Hobbs went up the broken ladder. That to me was a concern because I didn't want to see him do that. But luckily, they had the refs there, only in AEW, right, to hold the ladder.
Yeah, only in AEW.
Only in AEW.
Only in AEW. Yeah, I had text Matt, and I said, man, they are beating the poop emoji out of each other in this match. Like, man, like AR Fox was getting it. Man, I'm like, this brother, man, is taking these left and right. Then Andrade had like a really sick bump. Man, like my back started hurting watching these guys wrestle, man. It was definitely a really entertaining match, to say the least. And I was really happy with the outcome. Because Powerhouse Hobbs has been sitting on the sidelines for far too long, man. This man has gotten into great shape. He looks great. And he has personality. He can talk. I'm not sure about the whole Book of Hobbs things. I think that might need to kind of tweak that a little bit. But overall, I'm really, really excited. And, this let it right, since we're talking about it right now, that's my moment of the week. I'll explain more later on. Nice. I love seeing that man stand up with that brass ring. I love seeing that man stand with them brass rings. I'll talk about it later on, but I thought that was a really, really good match, guys.
He was shaking like a leaf, too.
Man, I was shaking for him.
Yep. He's a big guy to be up that high.
Christian does it again. Hold on, Matt. Real quick. Yep. I did look up on the Google, the Commander. Commander has been wrestling forever. He's only 24. I do not think he's Kalisto, just because they said he's been since 2019 in Lucha Libre. And he's been with GCW, MLW, and PWG. So, and they've only referred to him as Commander.
I don't think I've seen him.
Yeah, good call, Rhodesia. I looked up myself as well. Like, yeah, it wasn't Kalisto, as you said.
Okay. I was talking about Christian being the best heel in AEW, and that is over MJF, because MJF gets cheers where Christian does not. But bigger than that, take a listen to this. So I'm going to set the stage. So watching Dynamite last night. Christian cuts a fantastic money-making promo, right? Lights go out. I'm like, damn, it was like, Luchasaurus back again. Is he face? Is he heel? Is he heel? Is he face? Lights come back on. It's a video package. With who? Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is outside. Jungle Boy is digging a hole in the ground. Rhodesia.
Stop. Don't even do that.
What did you say Jungle Boy was doing?
I was not. No. Hell no. Excuse my language. No, we're not doing that to me.
What did you say Jungle Boy was doing?
You're not doing that to me. We're not doing that to me.
What did you say
we're not doing
Jungle
that.
Boy was doing?
Okay, well, I was cooking. So I was cooking, and I just looked up, and I heard Christian talking. And I was like, oh my God, is he digging back up his daddy? And only because Christian made a comment about his daddy. It sounds so bad.
Wow.
But
is he digging up his daddy?
No.
So you really thought Jungle Boy went to the cemetery to dig his dad back up so he can cut like a promo with him? Like, what was your thought behind it? And you weren't cooking. You were on your laptop. So what was your thought process of looking up, thinking he's digging up his own father's dead body?
I just told you I was half paying attention to it. Hell, I didn't even know Saraya was in the women's match. So
that's true.
cut
I
me
don't
some
think you know
slack
the main
here.
event of Revolution either. So
I do know the main event.
You think it's CM Punk versus?
It's a 90-minute Iron Woman match.
2 nights.
2 nights.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I could not believe you thought he was digging up his dead daddy.
Man, what a gimmick this is. We talking about Jungle Boy, digging up daddies, and Matt's burying his wife. This is just ridiculous right here.
I'm just saying, man. Like, that's insane.
And you know what? But I'll share this. And then Matthew, my son, is sitting up here going to say, no, he's digging his grave. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to smack him because that was a little bit of talk back that he did. But, whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then he's going to bring this up on the pod that I'm talking about digging back up Jack Perry's daddy. That is so messed up.
There's no way I was letting that go. There is no way I was letting that go at all.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. for sure, Jack Perry. Eddie quits AEW at the end of Dynamite. Tony Khan had his conference call today to hype up, of course, ROH and Revolution. He said it is basically a storyline. Keep tuned to the wrestling business. I think that's just their way of getting him over to ROH. And I also think, too, that they are really drawing a line in the sand now of having nothing ROH related besides the wrestlers on Dynamite and Rampage, because he also made a comment on the conference call today surrounding, since the last pay-per-view they had, that they've made a concerted effort to really separate AEW and ROH, minus some of the ROH talent wrestling on AEW. So I think that's why that wasn't shown, because it was not AEW proper. But I guess Eddie's going to be exclusive ROH, which I kind of hate, because I really thought we were going to get a program with him and MJF soon. But it is what it is. What'd you guys think of Dynamite last night? Of course, we'll go into talking about Revolution here. But anything from Dynamite that really got you feeling away, good or bad?
You know, this is nothing new, and I think if you're a fan of his, you're a fan of his. But there's just certain people that's just really good. And again, it is Orange Cassidy. He started off the show. He can wrestle. He, in his character, bar none, is one of the best. So just overall, that, and then he actually kind of made, to me, Big Bill look better than what Big Bill is. But I have also a lot of hope for Big Bill too here in AEW. But Orange Cassidy, solid, just all the way around solid. Love him.
A couple things, Christian, what a great promo, man! What a great heel promo, right? This really good promo from him. I had mixed feelings on the Orange Cassidy and Big Bill match. Mm-hmm. I was entertained by it.
Okay, but go ahead.
I can't explain what I didn't like about it. It was. I'm not sure. Like I liked it, but then I didn't at the same time. I don't know why I didn't like it, but I liked it. It was just I didn't. It was something going on. I can't really explain it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Matt? I
know exactly what you are talking about, and it goes back to we have to stop doing spots just to do spots. AEW does it a lot. WWE does it at times too. NXT used to do it a lot when it was black and gold, and it drove me insane. Last night in that match, we get a table spot.
Yeah.
Where Big Bill puts Orange Cassidy through a table. And it had nothing to do with the finish of the match.
Nothing.
Why did you put him through a table?
Happened pretty early, too.
To show his dominance. Yeah, but it's to show his dominance and his strength.
But you didn't win. So at least if you put him through the table, you won. Orange Cassidy could harken back to that moment and say, but if that didn't happen, of course he wouldn't say it, right? But best friends could have said, but if you didn't use that table, he would still be champion. But it didn't matter. I had a big beef on Rampage last Friday when it was Aussie Open and Young Bucks. And Aussie Open hits a jumping tombstone on one of the Bucks. Didn't even go for a cover. I understand we are now in 2023 and wrestling moves are not what they used to be. But you cannot continue to bastardize these moves and put these wrestlers through hell, and it's not even a cover attempt. So Eve, you and I are on the same page. That's what it was. You had that spot in that match, and it's kind of like, okay. And then as great as Orange Cassidy is, and everything is not big man, little man. Everything is not big guy versus small guy, heavyweight versus lightweight. But there is a significant weight and height difference. Yes, he did do the super man punch from the ropes. Okay, so cool. You kind of protected Big Bill there. But I would argue that there wasn't enough protection of Big Bill. I think that in a land of smaller wrestlers, people like Wardlow, Big Bill, Hobbs should be protected to the highest level because they are the biggest guys there. So when you see something like that, you're kind of just like, okay. But that was my beef with that match. And after he put him through the table, I think they went to commercial right after that.
He did.
And they kind of wrestled the match after that. Like the table spot didn't happen. I was kind of taken out of the match.
Yeah, cause I did text you. I'm like, man, it's a shame that nowadays that a table spot isn't like anywhere close to a finish of a match. It's like done as like a suplex in the beginning of the match, almost. But
it's a working punch.
It just the overall match. Yeah, just wasn't hitting for me. Like that one spot was an annoyance, but it was the overall match. Going back to the Saraya, man, every time I see her, every time she walks out, I'm like, man, she just looks really good. I love her look and her style that she has right now. It just really pops. But it's just something about that view. I feel like as a fan, and even watching the audience, I feel like we should care about the feud that's going on right now. Of course, Rhodesia doesn't care about it. She doesn't even know that Saraya's in the damn match. That's one thing.
I thought it was just Ruby. I thought it was Ruby.
I'm not even sure if she knows Saraya used to be Paige and she's actually in AEW right now. I don't even know if she.
I knew that much. I knew that much. Yeah, I knew that.
Got it.
But you got Jamie's doing I think Jamie's doing some really great work as a champion right now.
Yep.
But it's just not hitting right now. And I think Toni Storm, beautiful girl, and I think she's a good wrestler too. But for some reason, I think the whole thing just isn't hitting, and I don't know why. I'm not interested in seeing their match at Revolution at all. We can get to that a little bit later.
Let's segue that bad boy. That's how we do segues, baby. Let's get
right.
to it right now. Let's start talking Revolution. And let's start with that match. We got a triple threat match, Rhodesia, for the AEW Women's Championship.
I just found out about that.
Who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just found out about
Saraya
that.
versus Ruby Soho.
I was listening to a podcast today, and I just heard that.
Awesome. Eshaun, I'll throw it to you first. You were kind of already talking about it. Give us your thoughts on who comes out of that match as the champion.
I'm hoping it's Jamie, because I like her as champion. I think I don't want to say has added credibility to the championship, but maybe I feel like maybe that is the correct word I'm looking for. I feel like she's just a solid champion. I feel like when she holds that title, she looks like a champion. She carries herself like a champion. She speaks like a champion. I feel like she deserves to continue her run as champion. And I want to see her in a meaningful, good storyline after this. You would think that having Saraya, having Toni Storm, you got some big names in that division in this feud right now.
Okay.
It hasn't hit. So I'm hoping to see her walk out as champion, continue to be champion, and continue to dominate.
All right, so I'm going to give my input based off of who I thought was in the match. Is that okay? Because then anything else, I thought it was going to be Jamie and Ruby.
Thunder Rosa was back?
No, I thought it was just Jamie and Ruby. So sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to say this one part, then I'm going to say something after that. So I want Hayter to win because I want her to now feud against Dr. Britt Baker. Because I think for me, as a fan watching it, we're starting to get at the crossroads where now Dr. DMD might start to outshine Jamie. And that's a thin line. I think that they've been doing very, very well at balancing. But for me, as a fan watching kind of just all of that, it's about time for Jamie and Dr. Britt Baker to kind of start their program. Maybe not immediately next weekend. No, I'm not saying that because we have to build for Double or Nothing. But I would want Jamie Hayter to retain. I think Ruby can still be protected. Maybe Saraya takes the pin. I don't know. But I think Ruby could be protected. I'm excited to see that match. But I want Hayter to win.
Okay. I think that the reason why this feels stagnant, Eshaun, you kind of made a comment like there's something missing. It's because the feud or the storyline stopped in first gear. That's why. Like, I thought Mercedes was coming back at the January show, and that was going to really push this us versus them storyline, and they stopped it. Nobody has been added to the us side. Nobody's been added to the them side. So we're kind of in the same spot we were like a month and a half ago with this, and that's why it feels like Jamie kind of isn't really moving. That's why we feel like the Saraya Toni piece, because Toni's fantastic. Every match she's in, the match she had last night was awesome. Another really, really strong match. But you're kind of like, okay, this storyline is supposed to be the outsiders versus the originals, and nobody's been added to either side. So I'm going to hope this storyline continues with something major happening at the pay-per-view, because if it doesn't continue, then I think this was a massive waste of time. So I think Ruby has zero shot of winning this match. Yeah. I think she was putting this match to take the pin.
Oh,
so you protect Saraya. Yeah.
Okay.
I got Jamie still winning. And I don't know if I want the feud yet between Britt and Jamie. But I mean, I'll be here for it when it does happen because eventually it's got to happen.
So when would you be saying then? You would think all out?
I need something to happen with this feud. Now, maybe Tony thought he had Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe contracts fell through and whatever the case may be. And maybe that's what this storyline was supposed to be. But something happened in this storyline. And we ain't seen what we were supposed to see, I think. But if I got to be official on the books, give me Jamie walking out with the title.
All right. All three of us for Jamie.
Yep. The other thing I thought was, and then I changed my mind last night, I thought maybe Britt would turn and actually go with Saraya and Tony. But I think she took a swing at somebody last night or she cost somebody the match. I was like, okay, maybe that's not happening. So we'll see. Jungle Boy versus Christian. It's I don't know if it's a street fight. I don't know if it's a sanctioned match. It felt like they kind of left it in the air last night. We know that they're touching each other somehow, some way at the pay-per-view. So I'm just going to assume we're going to get a winner or a loser in this match. I think there's no way Jungle Boy doesn't win. This whole feud was, of course, to take Jungle Boy to the next level. Reason why they're still feuding is because, of course, Christian got hurt and was all out, and now he's back. So he's back to put Jungle Boy over. So give me Jungle Boy.
Same here. Just carbon copy what you just said for me.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Jungle Boy win this. Obviously, I feel like the whole feud stopped because Christian got injured and Lucha got injured. So they've been kind of a holding pattern until we got to this match finally. But I definitely see Jungle Boy winning.
Okay. So we are all aligned. So, all right, we're 2 for 2 right now. Third match. I'm going to need you to watch this match, E, so we can talk about it next week. Ricky Starks versus Chris Jericho. The Jericho Appreciation Society is banned from ringside. Rhodesia, who are you taking for that match?
Ricky Starks. I have to. It's just otherwise, when you talking about just in the triple threat, it's always for nothing. If he doesn't win, it'll be, to me, I feel like it's all for nothing. He's gotten his butt whooped for what, 6 weeks now? He has to go over. Ricky has to win.
Okay. You can't hear. He's playing No Chance in Hell by Vince McMahon.
How'd it go?
That's what you got. No chance I'm watching this match, goddammit. Let's keep it moving.
So you're not going to watch, but who are you taking?
I hope Ricky wins.
Okay, so you're taking Ricky. Rhodesia took Ricky. I am so
Take
sad,
Ricky.
but
Ricky.
I think Chris Jericho's winning.
Oh, my God.
Yep, the stipulation went from 2 weeks ago. The stipulation was everyone is banned from ringside. They switched it last week to the Jericho Appreciation Society is banned from ringside. Which tells me Jericho's getting help from somebody. That's not
I can see that.
the Jericho Appreciation Society.
I just don't want that, but...
I wonder what I can get to eat during this match. I want like a good meal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something I ain't never had before. So we have to really sit down and look at the menu prior so I can order it, right before the match comes on so it'll be hot and ready for me.
Be
right?
piping hot for you?
Yeah, so I have something really good because I ain't going to have a good match to watch. So really excited.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I think this continues, which I can't even believe I'm thinking that. But, yep, give me Jericho, unfortunately. Or, yeah, give me Jericho. AEW World Trios Championship match. The Elite versus the House of Black. Rhodesia, who you got?
Although I will be interested to see House of Black win, I'm going to go with the Elite. No particular reason why or the other.
Okay.
I just think the Elite's gonna retain.
It's time. It's House of Black time.
Okay.
Like that. Use a little better.
Okay,
Mix it
I like
in.
that better.
It's time for House of Black. Tony, I need to. See, I'm gonna send this video, Tony Khan, personally. It's time, Tony. You've been teasing me for way too long. You've been giving me a little bit of House of Black. Then you take it away from me. You gave me a little bit of House of Black, then you take it away again. You've been playing with me for too long, young man. Okay? You've been too long. Give me what I want. Give me a House of Black holding some straps. God damn it. I need to see this. The world needs to see it. Hey, look, the Young Bucks, Kenny, they made men's. Okay? Not mans. They made men's. Okay? They going to be all right. House of Black, we need this. Tony, we need this. Give these men the title and keep these people on my TV week after week because they are entertaining. They can go in the ring. You got something special. Seize the opportunity to make some made men in House of Black. Matt, Rhodesia, House of Black for the win.
I like it.
I hope you are correct because I don't think the Elite's done anything with the belts, to be honest, since they won them. I don't. My thought, though, is I don't know how you can give House of Black another loss because this isn't even a feud, unfortunately.
No.
It's not. It is a match they put together and they just started interacting on TV 2 weeks ago. That is what this is. So my thought is if I'm a conspiracy theorist.
You got the script?
If and when FTR, if and when CM Punk comes back, that is the match that can main event Double or Nothing is the Elite versus FTR and CM Punk. Right? But in order for that match to happen, you would think it would be for the titles. Yeah. Because that probably should be the main event of any show it's on, if that happens. So with that thought process, because I do think FTR and CM Punk will be back in AEW. I've been saying that for a long time. I'm going to take the Elite, but I think it's a travesty. What I would love is for the House of Black just to destroy them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I see that coming. But it is time for them to do something with the House of Black.
Absolutely. And you know what? Definitely that would be a big match. But I feel like that match with FTR, CM Punk versus the Elite doesn't need to have championships attached to it. I feel like just the names involved and the circumstances involved, is bigger than a championship, right? I feel like that match doesn't need the championships. But I feel like House of Black needs something.
They do.
Right? So I hope that Tony kind of realizes that and makes it happen.
Okay. I mean, and even to your point, though, I think AEW always ends their shows with title matches. So that's why I said it would need to be for the title. But I guess you could always put it on House of Black now, flip it later on to get to that match. But we'll see. But yeah.
The point is, I do want to see, though, and I don't mean to cut you off there. I would love, though, to see the Elite and House of Black just go on a program together. I'd like to see them having matches, week after week after week. Well, not every week, but you know what I mean. I want to see them for a couple months wrestling each other because I think we're going to be able to see a lot of House of Black.
Can you please give me Buddy and Kenny in a one-on-one match?
Ooh.
My God.
Yep.
Please, right? But so we know that match is going to be great. Yeah. Next match, TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. Now knowing that we're getting a cash-in of the brass ring Wednesday by Powerhouse Hobbs, this kind of changes my thoughts on this match. I thought this was Wardlow's match to win. And I guess it still can be. But like I said, do you flip it on the Hobbs Wednesday? Do you have Wardlow beat Hobbs and he won the ladder match for no reason? Is Hobbs a heel right now? We kind of don't know. He got a huge ovation. He got a huge ovation for getting that brass ring. So now knowing what I know, I'm going to just go Samoa Joe. I'm not confident in that at all, but give me Samoa Joe so Hobbs can take it off of him on Wednesday. But I don't know what that does for Wardlow at all.
Yeah. So I was going to say I'm willing to bet my paycheck Wardlow was going to win until that new caveat was added on what's going to happen on Wednesday. You only hope that Wardlow can come back after this because I was actually like this second coming of Wardlow I'm excited for, but we might have to have like a third coming of Wardlow. I think Joe's going to retain for him to drop it to Hobbs on Wednesday. Again, how are we going to make this look good and protect Wardlow? Do not know. I'm not getting paid to book that, but I think Samoa Joe is going to retain.
So you're going Joe also?
Mm-hmm. Just because Hobbs has a match against the winner. Because I think Hobbs is going to ultimately win it.
I want to. Man, I don't have confidence.
I know, right?
And really, because like at the end of the day, you will hope we didn't have. This goes back to I think one of Rhodesia's topics, and I might be remembering incorrectly because I could barely remember yesterday about tournaments and them mattering. I think we had a whole conversation about it. Like we had this whole big match, right, just for Hobbs to win, stand tall, just for him to lose next week. Like, what's the point in that?
That's why that doesn't make sense.
Like, right? Like, if he's not gonna be part of this match in some kind of significant way, like it feels like all for nothing. So I don't know if this is to get him somehow integrated in that match again, and we get another 3-way between the three of them. And if so, I definitely want to see a Powerhouse Hobbs run. I've been high on that man for a long time. I think they need to add something extra to his act, and I don't think it's that book that he walks around with. But I would love to see, somehow him get integrated in that match, see him on top, see them add something to his act all in the same night, and that's what kind of got him over, and win that match. I love to see him and Stokely together somehow. And then Stokely doing his whole thing with the unfirm or firm, whatever they're doing right now. But I love to see Hobbs integrated in that match.
So keep Stokely far, far away from Hobbs. Stokely is a comedy act. I don't want anything. There's nothing funny about Hobbs. Keep him as that mean killer machine that he is. I mean, and this is the problem with AEW because they don't do count out or DQ finishes. This would be the perfect scenario for one of those. So maybe we get that because we don't get it often at all. Maybe we get a DQ finish that protects Wardlow. Yeah. And then we get Joe and Hobbs. I think Joe can really put on a great match with Hobbs on Wednesday. So we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of these matches where, and good or bad, actually probably, I don't want to say more bad, but it's probably more bad because of the way some of the booking has been that you can't really call some of these matches. But that's another one where you're kind of like, oh no. This one I think will be aligned on for sure. Texas Death Match, Jon Moxley versus Hangman. This is Hangman's match to win, and then I'm still not giving up hope Moxley goes on vacation. So, but give me Hangman in this.
I'm going Hangman.
I like Hangman. Hangman.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's probably the only match on here. Go ahead.
One thing I guarantee you, it's gonna be blood.
Mox will bleed.
Oh, we're getting blood in the first 30 seconds. John's gonna be busted open.
Walking to the ring, he's gonna bleed. AEW Tag Team Championship match. Can't lie, not excited for this. I hope there is some type of grandiose plan for this match. You got the Guns versus Acclaim versus Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. It'd be cool to see Danhausen in this match because he doesn't really wrestle. I think we're going to see him wrestle. And it's going to be cool because people who haven't seen him wrestle, they only seen just the gimmick outside the ring, I think are going to have their eyes open for him because he actually is a really good worker. But, man, you just look at this four-way is not.
I'll eat my crab legs during this time, Eshaun. So you have yours earlier. This will be my time when I eat my meal.
I want to talk about this tag team. We talked about it, tag team match, I should say. We talked about it briefly when the Guns won the championship. And, they ain't did nothing with these titles. I don't see why they took the titles off of the Acclaim, who were super hot, right? And maybe they still are, but I feel like they might have lost a little steam to me because I haven't seen them as much. Mm-hmm. To put it on the Guns and for them to do absolutely nothing with them and then put them all in this match, it's just not resonating with me. I mean, I honestly I haven't been a Jeff Jarrett fan in a long time. I watched a lot of the TNA stuff and he was the worst part of TNA to me. And to see, now we're here, it's 2023 and I'm still seeing this man in championship matches. In 2023, I still got to sit and watch Jeff Jarrett in a championship match. God damn it, Tony. You better give me House of Black. And they that night, man.
If they're in it.
I just don't like what they've been doing with this tag team division. I think it was a mistake for the Acclaim to lose the titles. I think Guns haven't done anything with it. I don't want to see Jeff Jarrett in this match. Yeah, Jay, let's show out.
Well, I think it's more. I think it's more the 4-way, man. Because say even if looking at these teams, say the Acclaim haven't lost, right? Say they still are the champs, and they still have this 4-way. This 4-way still looks This 4-way does not look good on paper. So even if Acclaim did not lose to the Guns, and they still win with these 4, because evidently there has to be a reason why they've gone with these 4, Guns, Acclaim, Jarrett and Lethal, and then Danhausen and Orange Cassidy, I still would look at this match like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like,
especially because of the talent they have in AEW in their trios and tag team division. Like, this is the teams.
Oh no, I 100% agree with that. I'm just saying, like, you know, we're getting this match either way, right? Like, why take the belts off of the Claim? Because it doesn't, having the belts on the Guns doesn't really add to the thing, unless we are going to go with Orange and Danhausen winning the championships. You know, but at the same time, I mean, you know, they could have pinned anybody in this match and been champion, and that's where we're gonna, if they want to go. But
all I know is I hope they do not do a switcheroo and put Billy Gunn back with the Guns after everything we've been through.
I actually want to see that.
I hope that's not the end game.
I actually want to see that. I actually want to see that.
It's their daddy.
Yeah,
that's your daddy.
I'm good on the flippy. Now, yeah, if the Guns turn face and that happens, great. If they stay here, So okay, so who you guys going with? I don't think we even gave our picks.
Oh, snaps! You're right. I moved on from that. Where's a quarter at? So I can flip it. Actually, it's 4 teams. The Guns with the reunion of their daddy.
So you got the Guns retaining.
Yep.
Eshaun
with their daddy.
I like that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
With their daddy.
I'll take it too.
Yeah. With their daddy.
Final match. Iron Man match. 60 minutes. MJF versus Bryan Danielson. Eshaun, go first. Who you got?
I'm going for MJF with the retention.
Rhodesia?
I haven't thought about the winner. What I will say, though, and I'll give it in a second, what I will say is we're going to see how well MJF can go in the ring. That right there, I'm winning just from that alone. You know how I felt about MJF and how, as far as how I don't think he's that great of a wrestler.
And he proves you wrong every time he gets in that ring.
Hopefully he can prove me wrong again, and I will be 100% sold. But going 60 minutes with a talent like Bryan Danielson, who doesn't get winded, who can go and be explosive from minute 1 to minute 60, I cannot wait to see MJF showing as a dance partner with Bryan Danielson. Winner is still going to have to be MJF, because I think a few months ago or 2 months ago, we had said MJF was going to carry it all year. So, although I do want to see I want Bryan to get a championship reign with AEW. I know he doesn't have that many more years left in him from what he even said, but MJF is going to win.
So I am crossing my fingers Bryan wins. I think they need to do a hard pivot with MJF in the championship. Albeit, you guys know, I talk about it damn near every other week about how they should have turned him face. I'm not saying that he needs to go face. This program was not the best until the last 2 or 3 weeks. And that's because they kind of got into the meat and potatoes of the match and the title and et cetera, et cetera. With AEW only having, basically quarterly pay-per-views, the next pay-per-view is Double or Nothing, which is the end of May. They can't run this similar type of storyline again with MJF. They can't.
Charles Jericho?
Yeah, man, like, they can't. They can't do it. Like, yes, smart money's going to be MJF wins. I said it. I think this whole thing was to lead up to, the Bidding War 2024. He holds the title for a year, et cetera, et cetera. But going through a title run like this since November, so it's been 3 months, 4 months, I think it's been flat. It has been flat.
I agree.
So I don't know what they can do, but I've always said Bryan should have been AEW champion. I don't care he doesn't want to be champ. I don't care he just wants to put on the best matches he can. This is a business. Having him as your champion is going to help your business. He is that kind of performer that you want him at the top of your card. And I don't know what the next feud is going to be. Maybe this is where CM Punk comes back. And maybe Punk comes back for the title that he never lost, that he had to relinquish. And we get the CM Punk MJF feud. Maybe that's why Tony didn't turn MJF face, because he's like, nope, we're going to have this in the cooker, and when it happens, it's going to blow the roof off of it. Maybe that's what happens. But something has to change in this next pay-per-view cycle. We can't have this same type of title run. I don't think it's going to work. So,
but I think with this whole 60 minutes with Bryan, it's going to change MJF. Not maybe saying that he's going to now become a face. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that just overall his reign. So if he does win, I think he's going to be different come next Wednesday, next Friday, you know, going forward. He's going to be a different man. Now, the saying is the first time you go into Hell in a Cell or a Steel Cage, or Hell in a Cell was the one back then, you're never the same. You're a different person. It changes the man. And MJF is going to be changed after he goes 60 minutes with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, you know, I kind of wish that they kind of would have, these roles would have been reversed. Because I feel like the most interesting that Bryan Danielson has been when he turned heel briefly, I think he was wrestling Hangman. When he was kind of, and right before they put him with the BCC, like he was such an interesting heel character. I thought he was cutting some really fire promos week after week. And of course, MJF, I think that he'd been better off as a face right now, just like as we've been talking about. I would have loved this match to have been a heel Bryan Danielson versus a face MJF. I think it would have been a much better feud. I think they would have been able to do more with it. But yeah, I don't know.
Right? I mean, that's kind of what it is, which is a good and a bad thing, because I'm super excited to see the match. I'm more excited to see the finish than anything that happens in the 59 minutes and 59 seconds of this match, because I think this is going to dictate kind of what the business for AEW is over the next few months. And typically AEW shows always has like some type of major surprise somewhere. So like I said, if I had to bet smart money, give me MJF, but I would love Bryan Danielson to win the championship and give me a 3 to 6 month run with the title. And he showed last night that he can still cut that really strong babyface promo.
Indeed.
So, yep. That leads right into the TFW moment of the week. Rhodesia, hit that beautiful jingle.
TFW moment of the week.
That was a little poop.
Was that a poop sound?
Poop.
It sounds like
oh, man. Can't.
It was more like a, but it came out different, but whatever.
Got you. Well, that is my TFW moment of the week. Bryan Danielson's go home promo last night. He sold that match in the pay-per-view. And MJF didn't have to say one word. MJF sold it with his facials and his mannerisms. Bryan sold it with his words. That's all you can ask for. I thought that was excellent. So that was my TFW moment of the week. And sorry just to gloss through it. If you are a first-time listener, thank you for listening, of course. But if you don't know what a TFW moment of the week is, it is any type of moment that we see fit, we want to shout out from the past week. Could be a match, could be a promo, could be a sign in the crowd, whatever. If it's wrestling related, it is on deck to be a TFW moment of the week candidate. So, Rhodesia, I'm going to throw it to you. What is your moment of the week?
Mine was actually a match. I usually don't call out matches as my moment of the week. And it was on Tuesdays NXT. And it not Wednesdays, but Tuesdays NXT. And it was with Carmelo Hayes and Tyler Bates. Overall, whole bunch of near falls, whole bunch of suplexes, whole bunch of suplexes names that I don't even know, because they were just doing so many awesome things out of their arsenal of going at each other. My favorite type of match, a lot of spots, fast, going, moving, and at the end, Carmelo wins. So that was my match of the week, and it's also my moment of the week.
Nice. I said it earlier. William Powerhouse Hobbs standing tall on top of that ladder. And I don't care if the referees had to hold the ladder down, as long as that man safe. What we didn't want to see is that man fall on his ass and on live national TV. Nobody wants to see that. But what I did want to see, and what we saw, was that man standing tall on that ladder, holding gold. I don't care if it was brass nuts, gold nuts,
Whoa.
rings, whatever.
Are you
That
saying
man
nuts?
standing
What kind of
Nuts,
party
nuts,
is this?
goddammit.
nuts.
Gold nuts, brass nuts,
Wow.
brass rings, gold rings.
What are we talking
I
about
love
here?
seeing this man standing tall, holding it in the air for everybody to see. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Awesome moment. I hope this leads to this man winning some gold in that AEW. William Hodge, kudos to you, man. Let's go.
With your brass nuts.
Them brass nuts, gold nuts, brass nuts, all the nuts. These nuts.
Fumbles on people's nuts. Right. We got to get out of here. All right. Another fantastic, successful episode. Hey, guys, you guys know the deal. Spread the word for us. Sub to the pod so you don't miss anything from the three of us. Hit that follow button and continue to support us. We appreciate each and every single one of you. If you have not already, give us a follow on Twitter @That'sFNW. And, of course, you guys know we are now doing full episodes on YouTube @That's Freakin Wrestling. So, got a big weekend of wrestling this week. We have a lot to talk about, of course, next week. So thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week.
Woo, 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 woo.
Nuts.